Yeah, that's a really good question. And I wish I had answers for that when I went and applied for jobs, because I thought I joined my dream job out of college, and it took me 3 years to kind of realize it wasn't what I wanted to do for the long term. I think the best piece of advice, I don't know how many check boxes you can really check before, walking through the door on your first day. Um, but one thing I really encourage people to do is like get to know the team that you're going to be working with. And as I interview candidates as well, that's kind of the question I ask myself is like, can I see myself working with this person for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? Um, and yeah, like, is the team as motivated as you are? Are they passionate about what they do? Because what I found myself struggling with was I was working with a lot of people who weren't really motivated in their jobs. And that kind of wore me down after a while. I wanted to be kind of surrounded with people who also wanted to learn new things and were really proud of what they worked on. Um, so I think ask a lot about the team that you're joining. Like, do they go out after work? Do they have team building events? How much do you end up collaborating with people on your team, people outside of your team? Um, just kind of what is that team culture like is certainly some advice I would give. Yeah, if you're interviewing with somebody and they ask you if you have questions, I would always ask like, what's the last thing your team accomplished? What's the last thing they like built or delivered? And if that doesn't excite you, then that's not the team for you. Um, and there's teams, who are very much like turn the wheel and crank out product, or is it like you're faced with something that you have no idea how to solve and you guys come together and figure it out? Um, two very different types of jobs. In terms of like what companies to look for, there's your big like 10,000 person company. Those are kind of the companies that you'll get a lot of insight into when you do your internships. And if you're not a fan of kind of, maybe the slower pace, the smaller amount of responsibility you're given, that's pretty common at companies that large. So one thing I kind of tell people is like, you're young, you can afford to take a chance on a smaller company. Yeah, I would always recommend kind of starting in a smaller, more nimble company coming out of college. I kind of wish that I'd done that.